Hello, everybody. Welcome to another founders interview on Webbiquity. Today, I'm joined by Okonkwo, founder and CEO at SitEat. He and I have talked a number of times at Beta, Minnesota events and some other events around town, and I'm really excited to have him here today to tell you his story. First off, hi, Moo. Thanks for joining. How are things going?
Things are going fine. Thanks for having me on here today, Tom. I really appreciate it.
Excited about telling your story, getting the word out. So to start off, I guess just in a few sentences, kind of tell us, what problems that SitEat is solving, who it solves them for. In other words, who's the buyer, and then kind of what makes it special or better than alternatives or other ways that people might solve this problem.
Basically, SitEat is helping fans like you and me to skip long lines at these events that they love going to. That's the core problem we're solving, to making it easier for people to order food from concessions at any sporting arena or sporting venue, be it high school, middle school, college, or pro arenas like the US Bank Stadium, or even your state fair. We've built a technology that helps you skip that line and turn your 10 to 20-minute wait time into a 30-second breeze.
Cool. So someone's sitting up in the stands at a basketball game, football game, whatever, and they're, getting hungry, but they know if they go down like at the quarter break, the half break, whatever, it's going to be crazy. So your app lets them basically just put in their order, and then they just get notified when there's no line, and they can just run down and grab it.
Yeah, with our app, you scan a QR code and you place your order, and the vendors at the concession are able to receive your order, and they fulfill your items. And when it's ready for you to pick it up, they send you a notification via text to come pick it up. On the back end for the vendors, we help them actually manage their concession operations to focus more on fulfillment and back of house work instead of front of house. So we take care of the front of house for concession vendors.
So it's the concession, the vendors or the management company is your customer, correct?
Yeah, our customer segment is divided into like three core customers that we're looking at right now. Is the high schools, is the colleges, and is the pro arenas like the US Bank stadiums that are mostly, the colleges and the pro arenas are mostly managed by concession management teams like Airmax, Sodexo, Levy, and the rest of them. But the high schools are really where I'm really passionate about, because concession is like a big fundraiser for these high schools. And being a kid that played sports, I know how much those fundraisers help me to continue to play sports. So I'm very passionate about that particular vertical. And we get to also influence all the kids that are coming through the ranks, that are watching people like me that have played pro basketball and are building technology. And it's also a mentorship opportunity for us to keep investing in those kids. So those are the three industries that we're focused on right now: high schools, colleges, and pro sports arenas and venues.
That's fantastic. Yeah, so for the vendors, right, because if you think about the typical vendor at a sporting event, they're super busy again during those quarter breaks, halftime breaks, but they have often they'll have a lot of dead time or very slow time in between. So this really helps them smooth out their demand and ultimately increase their sales as well.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for these vendors is like 80% or 90% of people that go to these live sports events or entertainment events, everybody orders at the same time during the halftime. And even with so much of these technologies that are similar to what SitEat are building, the big questions for the vendor is, how do we handle all this demand during those peak time? And just from my experience working for Airmac, it's been a big question. Like, the problem is not putting in technology, is how to handle the demands coming in and how to set the right expectations with the guests or customers. Because if you place your order through an online app, you best believe that you want your food to be ready in 5 minutes. But if it's a 60,000 people deep ordering at the same time. How does the vendors handle it? What has happened in the stadium, or what I've seen in the stadium arena, is that, some vendors are very busy and there are other vendors that are not busy, but people are always closer to the vendors that are busy. So the thing we're providing those vendors or those concession team is like, allow us to use our technology to spread the demand across the entire stadium for you. That way, everybody's getting it at a very, timely manner. They're putting their food. Because at the end of the day, people come to the games to watch the events, not to stand 30 minutes in the line. So, and those are the things we built, with our analytic tools. We are able to give these vendors insights to begin to learn more about their guests. What do they like eating? What time do they like ordering? Like, what are the changes? And that helps even the vendors, especially with, you know, um, with sourcing materials now, or sourcing items to sell. Be just that whole thing of being able to source those items to sell in your concession, and just how hard it is to get these days, um, providing them those insights to be able to manage, the inventory they sell and manage their back end. It's just been something that they've really loved and are very open to.
Right, and it improves the fan experience as well. Very important. Just as a bit of background, so a few sort of quick answer questions. You're founded.
We started the company in 2019. My childhood friend started it up in 2019 as a drone delivery software company in New York.
Have you had any funding rounds, or is it all bootstrapped?
Right now, it's bootstrap and friends and family, pretty much friends that, believe in the product. They just chipped in here and there.
Okay. Anything you can tell us about company size at this point?
Right now, we have seven people on the team. Four of us are full time, and three of us are part time. The company, I'm full time. My co-founder, who's also my childhood's best friend, is part time because he's still going through the immigration process of being able to work full time in America. And our CTO is full time on the product, and actually, one of our investors has actually joined our team as a head of operation, and he's also full-time. And so it's just three part-time guys and four full-time guys just going at this haywire to just see it work.
It's a great start. So what inspired you to, and you've got a great, I know the story, but it's a great story. I want you to tell it. What inspired you to come up with a solution to this problem?
I mean, when I got to the US, my first job in the US was as a concession supervisor for Airmac at my college. And, I worked concession a lot, but I never thought about, technology helping to ease my job. It wasn't until my senior night when my mom came to watch me play basketball for the very first time here in the US. And, I was super excited and I wanted to impress her because if you know anything about African parents, you only have three options of what you do in college. It's either you become a doctor or an engineer or a lawyer. Anything outside those three, you're just wasting your time. So it was already about coming to the States to pursue my ambition as an athlete. And so having her watch me for the very first time, I was ready to show off to her and show like I'm actually doing this and I'm doing well in the classroom and they don't have anything to worry about. And I guess during the game, it was about like the end of the second half. She was nowhere to be found, and I just started having the best, stretch of my career. That was my last college game. I was just so disappointed that she wasn't there to see most of it. And so after the game, I kind of confronted her and was like, "Hey, why were you two there to watch? Like, did I suck that bad that you had to leave? Like, tell me, because I kind of over criticized myself a lot." And she was like, "No, no, no. Like, I really enjoyed watching you play." And I was like, "So why did you leave?" And she was like, "Well, I was hungry because she had just flown in that day, and she was hungry and she wanted to grab a bite." And she was like, I thought it would take me 1 or 2 minutes, but it took me like 20 to 30 minutes to get food here because it was two people serving concessions and the whole gym was trying to buy at the same time. And then she was like, maybe if you can build one of those your robot things to fly the food to me in my set, that way I would never miss it. And that is how the idea came up. I was like, you know what? I've experienced these problems numerous times, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that have experienced it. Other people have experienced it, and I was like, there's got to be a solution for this. And that's what started my journey of exploring what SitEat would be.
And who knows, the drones might be a future enhancement.
I mean, it's good because my co-founder is really good at building drones. He's started a lot of startups around drones. So wherever it takes us to, we're always ready to explore and take on the challenge heads on.
Fantastic. So as you've gotten the app, the system out there, what have been so far sort of the most effective channels or methods for you to get the word out to prospective customers and generate some interest?
Right now, the funny thing is like, when we started it off, like every other person, we wanted to go for the big dogs, which is the US Bank Stadium, the Alliance Field, but the sales process was just too long and is a very high relationship based industry. You needed to have a foot in the door to do business with them. So realizing this, we were like, what other people need this solution that we can solve for them today, build up a little bit of momentum before we go back to approach the pro stadiums. I was talking to a friend of mine that is a coach here in Minnesota. He was like, have you ever gone to some of these high school games? I was like, yeah. He was like, go check out what their concession looks like. So I started digging into high schools and started realizing that about 87% of high schools in Minnesota still do cash transaction. And that's one of the reasons why they still have lines. And people are moving away from cash to cashless, but nobody's building for this vertical. It's very underserved. And so basically started talking to my networks in the high school realms. And I was like, hey, can you make an intro here? So it's literally been word of mouth for us. And, we went there, we signed up our first client, and we were like, okay, we'll focus on these clients to make sure things work out for them. While we were doing that, I got connected to, the US Bank Stadium air market game. And, they gave me like sort of like an internship consulting job. And so I was consulting every game day, and that helped me build up my relationship within that vertical, so that when we're ready to attack, we have a existing relationship for that. But our focus has literally been to high schools, and we've done this by word of mouth and people just telling other people about how well the system has worked for them and how much they've been able to raise through our system. And so it's just been that. It's just been word of mouth. But we're excited to try different channels. We've explored different channels, and we're excited to try them out this new year.
So plans are to go, I know a lot of it's local right now. Plans are to go regional, national, everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, our goal is to start with with about 160 schools in the metro area, and then expand to key geographies like Texas, Florida, New York, and California, and then go national or nationwide with that. We've kind of started having interactions in Texas and Florida already. So, that's in the play for us, but we hope to go nationwide.
Yeah, high school football is kind of a thing in Texas. So
It's big in Texas. They say everything is bigger in Texas. I didn't believe that till I went for a high school football game, so I know it's big in Texas.
It definitely is. So now that you've been at this for 3, coming up on 4 years, if you would finish this sentence. So knowing what I know now, if I were starting over today, what I would do differently is.
I would have launched faster. I would have launched the product out there early enough and just take feedback. The product was started in 2019. I started taking interest in wanting to build it in 2020. Actually 2021, I called my team in Spain and was like, hey, I'm done. I'm going back home. I'm more excited about something else. So I went full time on SitEat, 2021, September 2021. And so if I had to do it all the way around, I would have just launched and just started talking to customers right off the gate and just picking people's interest. But I guess that's the rookie mistake we make.
Well, and it's been a challenging couple of years,
Yeah, it's been COVID.
well.
Yeah, it's been COVID. It's been one thing after the other. But I'll just say launch as fast as possible as you can. Get it in the hands of users and get their feedback because they won't come to you. You just have to go to them.
Exactly. You mentioned also earlier about doing mentoring. So kind of on that topic, what's kind of the most important advice or guidance that you could give to someone like yourself just starting out today?
One of the biggest advices, don't be afraid to ask for help. And don't be afraid to say, I don't know this. Some of the successes I've had so far has been in the Twin City, has been asking people that I felt like know it better than me for help and saying, hey, this is my hypothesis, but I don't know this aspect of it. Can you guys help? Just asking for help and not trying to act like you know it all and just being able to say like, hey, like this is new to me. No, I don't know it, but if you give me some time, I'll go find out more about it. It's been one of the biggest things for me in my growing and learning process. Just asking for help. I'm one of those guys that like to do it myself, but I started learning how to get other people involved in helping out as well.
Fantastic. And I presume the team at Beta has been helpful in that respect as well.
Yeah, Beta actually was I went to the startup week in 2021 and at that time I was still skeptical. Should I launch this or should I not launch this? And I still had my basketball career that was really good for me at that time. And going through there, I got really motivated from Beta. I got connected to them and they've become sort of like sewn into my story, into my startup story, because they were like, yeah, you should do Beta Accelerator. It's going to help you grow. And I really grew from that. I met a lot of people that keep pouring into my life till today as well.
Yeah, it's a fantastic organization. So thanks. This has been a great discussion. Really appreciate having you on today. So final question before we wrap up. Where can people find you, connect with you, and learn more about SitEat?
I mean, SitEat, just like the name, we have a website called siteatapp.com, www.siteatapp.com, or you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter at SitEat and SitEat app, and you can find us there, or you can send us an email at info@siteat.org, and we'll be willing to talk to you guys more about what we do and why we're passionate about this.
Fantastic, excellent. Thanks, Moo, and hope your holidays are wonderful. And appreciate the time today.
Thank you so much, Tom. Thanks for having me again. I really appreciate it, Tom.